Medical professionals say chemical burns usually start out as an accident. They say they're tired of poor work conditions at slaughterhouses all over the country. Remember this?
Where's my money?
What about this?
You get hung up on.
Both claim they're falling on hard times because the Georgia Department of Labor is not answering their claims. We are learning more details about the latest group of Georgians who will soon be eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. Residents in one West Macon neighborhood say enough is enough and the crime is getting out of control. NWA officials took me underground to see some of the current damage.
Bottom flow line where the water rolls is rusted away.
Voters in District 5 are scratching their heads after they say they received this absentee ballot on Pansy Avenue between Straight Street and Mosley Avenue, where residents are illegally dumping their trash. And we're not just talking about trash bags. Toys, boxes, furniture, and a mountain full of tires. Except this time I'm on Roundfield Road in Macon, where residents say people just don't care. And a reminder, COVID relief was attached to a much larger government funding bill. So if President Trump does veto it, the government would shut down on Monday. A Dublin neighborhood celebrating President's Day with flags standing tall. Hopefully, within the next couple of years, these locks will be broken and this parking lot full. I even went inside just to see how bad the damage was.
That's the pot where I used to cook the sauce meat and the skins, and that's the room where I used to make the sausage.
Not only the department, I also caught up with a few residents who say they haven't done anything different from months past, so they can't understand why this month's bill is so high.
I was just...
Alexis Sanders speechless, trying to find the right words.
I was shocked for one because I know everybody got to die, but I was like, not my daddy.
45-year-old Michael Whitaker Jr. gunned down Monday night on Concord Street. The news spread like wildfire.
I was at work and I was very devastated and hot-headed.
Shantiqua Whitaker says she found out about her father from someone else who found out on Facebook. Deputies say Whitaker Jr. died from multiple gunshot wounds.
Maybe I should have called him last week or Saturday. Maybe I should have said I love you. Maybe I should, just see how he was.
Deputies say right now they're looking for witnesses and evidence.
So I just really hope they go ahead and find the guy.
The women say their father was no angel, but he was a good man.
In my eyes, he was my superhero. He wasn't, he was like a god.
And loved by many.
I'ma just say he brought the whole city out. Like, Daddy knew everybody, and everybody know Daddy.
The women say now that their dad is gone, they must live on and continue his legacy.
I had my moments. Last night I cried, I rolled, but once again, I can't stop my life just because he passed on. I gotta move on. Not move on from him, but move on, be great.
In Macon, Jatrissa Wooten, 41 NBC News.
I cried. I was very tearful. I cried, yes.
Arthur Massey says he fell asleep on his back porch, and when he awoke around 4:30 this morning, there was nearly 6 inches of water in his home.
Things were plugged up, and I even unplugged things thinking this isn't a smart thing to do, but I was thinking safety.
Elizabeth Morton says she and her husband evacuated around that time.
The water came right in, all through the house, through the front, through the back, everywhere.
This backyard here on Leisure Lake Drive is usually a beautiful landscape for a family to enjoy. But Morton says after this morning, her property is now a part of the lake.
Trash, tree limbs, anything you can think of.
According to Houston County EMA Director Christopher Stoner, the floodgates from the Leisure Lake Dam were open.
Unfortunately, just the amount of water that we had this morning was too much for that to handle as far as discharging,
causing a massive flood and property damage. According to Stoner, the Red Cross provided help to those in need. The director says there are no injuries reported, but as a reminder, people should not walk or drive through flooded areas. In Warner Robins, Jatrissa Wooten, 41 NBC News. Voters in District 5 are scratching their heads after they say they received this absentee ballot. Now, what's so confusing is that voters are saying the mayoral race was on there and not the race for their district. Candidate for Macon-Bibb Commission District 5, Seth Clark, first got wind of a ballot concern earlier this week from voters in his district. Clark says one District 5 voter reached out to him after receiving what she calls a faulty absentee ballot for early voting. Clark says the woman, a registered Georgia voter who is eligible to vote in District 5, said when she saw the options, the commissioner's race wasn't on it.
Only had the mayor's race on it.
After seeing the ballot himself, Clark says he sprung into action. Here's an example of the photocopied absentee ballot Clark emailed to the Macon-Bibb Board of Elections as proof. He also filed a formal complaint with the Georgia Secretary of State's office.
Their response was that the state director is going to look at it immediately.
According to Clark, the woman filed an affidavit with the State Board of Elections. She filed with another voter who had already sent back her own ballot, unaware of the missing race. Clark says whether the vote is for him or his opponent, Carlton Kitchens, he wants people to have their voices heard fairly. Clark says no matter the district, the voters should always double check their ballots. And if they find any problems, report it to the Board of Elections office. In Macon, Jatrissa Wooten, 41 NBC News.